Hey, to my Voyage Church family, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is that you're watching this video. Thanks for taking the time to do so. This is not the funny video that you get on Fridays. This is the serious, down-to-earth video that you get on Wednesdays from me, Pastor Jeff. So, again, you have to wait for the humor on Friday. As usual, Dan and his sidekick Ivers gave us some good laughs last Friday. Perhaps there'll be something to laugh about again this Friday. But for now, we got to get back to serious business. And as is usually the case, I'm here at the church recording this, and I'm in the back corner room here on the stage. But as I do so, and as I sit in here, I can still see that the walls are very yellow. Well, that's all going to change later on this afternoon and tonight when some of you come and help us paint these walls. We need tall people, we need short people, young people, old people. We need expert painters and novice painters. If you would like to help, meet us up here at 3 p.m. and we'll get you started with something to do. And you can stay as long as you want. I can stay till about 7:30, and I have a softball game tonight at 8:15, so I'll be stepping out of here at that point. But I'm told that we'll even have some pizza for those of us who are painting the church around dinner time. So come on out, lend us a hand. We need your help to get this done sooner rather than later. We've been talking about painting for a long time, and it's finally time to get it done. But as I was thinking about painting the church, and there's some paint going on the walls of our house as well right now, I was also deep in thought as to why we paint the walls in the first place. 12 or 13 years ago, that yellow that we've all grown to love was fresh, and it was new, and it was a really cool color to have on the walls. But sadly, over time, those walls get a bit dinged up, and sadly, over time, those colors are no longer trendy, right? Those trends don't last forever. So what do we do when this happens? We go down to the paint store or the paint department of one of our big box stores, and we pick out some new colors. And these new colors, once we paint them on the walls, will make the place seem almost like new. They will add a dimension or an aliveness that has not been there in some time. And the smell, I'm like one of those weird people who loves the smell of paint. I'm not an addict or anything like that, nothing to worry about. I just like the smell of fresh paint on the walls. That's all I'm saying. But like we paint our new colors onto our walls, we also, I think, have the opportunity to practice new things from a spiritual perspective. For instance, there's something about getting a new Bible, a new version, and reading from it. Earlier this year, I picked up a copy of the one-year Bible, which takes you through the entire Bible in a year, and the Psalms, I believe, twice in a year. And it's all there on the pages, so you don't have to flip around to different books. You're reading it all on the pages marked by each date of the month. And so that's been a fresh way for me to read God's Word. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So some of us will experience God's Word anew and afresh when we buy a brand new Bible like that. Even more, we might use a new translation. You know, we've always lived with the NIV or the King James Version or that sort of thing. Well, have you ever considered using a different translation? So when we read from a different translation, our time with God takes on, I think, a new perspective with new words and a new angle on this verse or on that chapter. Again, it's like giving our walls a fresh, new look. Others of us will want to find new ways to pray. Like, depending on our upbringing, we may or may not know how to pray, right? We may or may not realize how prayer works, or we may or may not be very familiar with the different forms of prayer that there are. Like, we may only have learned one form of prayer, and as a result, we ignore the countless other forms of prayer that are readily available to us if we only knew about them. So a book like Richard Foster's book, which is one of my favorites on prayer, reminds us and teaches us all the different ways we can actually pray. And when we start to pray in a new and fresh way, once again, it's like putting a fresh new color on the walls of our houses. It awakens us and creates in us a pleasure that we would never experience if we stayed with the same old way of praying. So my larger question today goes above and beyond painting. Yes, I'm asking you to come and lend a hand as we paint the church this afternoon and tonight. But that's not all I'm asking. I'm also asking you to think about something that you can do that will help you experience God in a fresh and new way. What is one thing you can do even today to change things up? Spiritually speaking, it's easy to get in a slump. Like, I've been in so many slumps spiritually over the years. It's appalling. But we develop these bad habits, or we find ourselves going through the motions. And I've done this so often, even when it comes to reading God's word. Like, I read it just to say I read it, but with little positive effect. So what is the one thing that you can do today to change things up, to get back on track with God in a fresh and vibrant new way? I don't think I need to tell you what this is, because deep down, I believe the Spirit is telling you what that is for you. So take a moment today, take a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes today and think about that. Pray about that. Ask God to tell you what thing you could do to change things up a bit, like putting fresh paint on your spiritual walls in your house, the house that God has given you, your body, the temple. Think about that. Pray about that. That's my wish, my desire for you. Hope to see some of you at the church tonight painting away. Otherwise, please take the time to develop some new habits, something new that you can do to make your relationship with God more fresh than it's been in some time. God bless you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.